Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. So, hope you've had a good week. Oh, bollocks. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you've all had a good week. So, sitting there last night, stuffed full of pizza, watching. I can't even remember what we were watching. And guess what? Fireworks. Fucking again. Couldn't believe it. It literally sounded like World War III, and it was coming from 3 or 4 doors down, and it was so loud there were neighbours actually coming out and shouting in the street, "We've got kids trying to sleep, you're scaring the pets," and this, that and the other. I think the tide is turning on these people. Obviously I had to chuck my hat in the ring, so went out on the back garden and started screaming, "You fucking inbreds." This is what you get. This is what you get when you sell fireworks to the Beverly Hillbillies. Do you know what I mean? Oh, let's set this thing on fire. What it go bangs. Fucking thick cunts. I literally had enough last night. It was like, do you know what? This can't go on. I knew it was coming because obviously you're going to get the odd one over Christmas. But we're still nearly a week and a half away from that. And we're 2 weeks away from New Year. So what the fuck are these boneheads setting bloody fireworks off again? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Calm. It really pissed me off last night, and it obviously pissed a lot of other people off. I'm guessing that whoever it was is going to be getting knocks on their door today from some very disgruntled neighbours, and hopefully the police, who will basically say, "You don't do it again or we'll fucking arrest you." Fucking idiots. So, down to business. We'll be on to the comments in a minute, but Rob Gear, morning Rob, put a couple of short punchy reviews on the group last night, which I'm more than grateful for, because it's always nice to see people sort of popping on the group and putting their opinions on movies on. He'd watched 2 movies. One was Venom 3, The Last Dance, and the other one was Red 1. The review of Venom 3, The Last Dance. Eddie Brock and Venom must make a devastating decision as they're pursued by a mysterious military man and alien monsters from Venom's homeworld. That's the synopsis. I have loved the Venom trilogy. It's been funny, dark and entertaining. This movie doesn't disappoint in those areas. However, I feel like one of the funniest scenes could have happened in a slightly different way to change the ending, but I guess in the circumstances of the characters, there wasn't really anything they could have done. But I'm guessing he enjoyed that one. Have any of you guys seen Venom 3? What did you reckon to it? I've not seen a Venom movie, so there's no point in me watching that one. Certainly not yet anyway, but Rob certainly seemed to enjoy it. The Red 1 review, I was also going to read that out because a lot of people have been talking about it, but I want to watch it, and I believe Jason hasn't seen it yet. But it's gained some very positive reviews on the group, even though the critics hated it. But as we've said before, filmmakers don't make movies for critics. They make movies for the movie-going public, and the movie-going public have been going to Venom 3 in droves, and Red 1, and making it a lot of money. And it obviously, Red 1 is now on Prime, so they're both doing pretty well. So thanks for that, Rob, much appreciated. The Red 1 review that you put on, I'll be reading out next week when me and Jason have seen it, and maybe 1 or 2 others, and I'll make a little feature out of that one. So thanks for that, mate, much appreciated. Right, on to comments. Let's start with comments, and we've got quite a few this week. You've done me proud again this week, guys. Thanks ever so much for this. David Mansell, morning Dave, always start with Dave. Awesome video as always. May do a Q&A video for somewhere around Christmas Eve if you've got any questions you want me to answer. I have. Let me read these out for you. Have you ever watched a film so disturbing or horrible that you'll never ever watch it again? Mine personally would have to be a Serbian film, which was just vile. Irreversible, that was a French movie, which I got probably halfway through and had to turn it off. I thought, I can't cope with this, it's just awful. And unfortunately, the 1972 version of Last House on the Left, which is, according to a lot of people, an absolute classic. I watched it for the first time in a long time a few weeks ago, and I literally felt like I needed a shower after watching it. It was just an awful film. And I have seen the remake, not recently, but I have seen it. It's a lot glossier, a lot, I won't say brighter, but it's not the same thing. It was obviously made a lot more professionally with recognisable stars and a decent plot line and this that and the other, which was very similar to the original, but it didn't have the griminess that the original had, and it's a Wes Craven film, so you would think it'd be absolutely brilliant, and to a lot of people it is, but it did absolutely nothing for me. So my three that I don't think I will ever watch again would be a Serbian film, Irreversible, and Last House on the Left. I've got a couple more here for you. Name a film that everyone else loves but you didn't enjoy. Does that make sense? Let me read that again. I'm not sure that made sense to me, and I wrote it. Name a film that everyone else loves but you didn't enjoy. Another one, name a film that you loved that everyone else hated. My only one that I could think of that was Xanadu. I know the critics hated it, the public didn't like it much, although they did enjoy the soundtrack. I thought it was great and watched it probably about 6 or 8 months ago on Blu-ray. Introduced Rob to it, he loved it, he'd never seen it, was familiar with the soundtrack because he got it on vinyl, but he'd never seen it. We both loved it, absolutely brilliant, so that would be mine on that. And finally, what is your snack of choice while watching movies? Mine is popcorn. It always is. Or obviously pizza with all the trimmings. So they're my 4 questions for you. So I look forward to hearing your answers to those. Finally going to watch The Thing. Finally going to watch The Thing. 4, 3, 2, 1. Finally going to watch The Thing, as Christmas television is so bad this year. It's awful, David, it really is. I've had a flick through the Christmas TV guide, and I've probably circled, well, not even circled, it's not even worth circling them, probably 5 or 6 things. They're mostly programmes, nothing much. The Ghost Story for Christmas, I will definitely watch that, because I always watch that every year. But I literally can't remember what the other things are. That's how sort of boring it actually is, which we've said this for ages. What are your favourite Christmas films? Let's see, I would have to say White Christmas, Holiday Inn, which was the movie that White Christmas was actually based on, I think. My favourite ever is Scrooge, the 1970 version with Albert Finney, the musical, which I think is just about as festive and as Christmassy as you could possibly get. But I've got quite a wide range of favourites on that. Christmas programmes, I love the Bing Crosby Christmas specials, the Rankin Bass puppet animations of Santa Claus is Coming to Town, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Frosty the Snowman, the original animated version, all that kind of thing. The Charlie Brown seasonal episodes, I love those. There's quite a few that I will be watching in the run-up to Christmas over the next week or so. The Snowman, obviously, I watch The Snowman every year and have done since 1982, since it was first screened. Absolutely love The Snowman. And Father Christmas, which is another Raymond Briggs thing. So they're on, I think they're streaming on Film 4, so I will be taking those in for sure. You also asked me, what is your favourite network title? Now, I'll come back to this in a bit because I've left it over there and I don't want to walk away from the camera. I've actually picked one that I thought, do you know what, you've seen that more than any one. So when I break in about, 20 minutes, I'll fetch it over and that'll probably be the first thing I show off. So stick with me, David, and you'll find out what my favourite network title is. Thanks ever so much for that, Dave. Much appreciated, mate. Always brilliant to hear from you. Dave Taylor, morning Dave, not heard from you for a bit. Hi Tony, some content I'm familiar with this week. Oh, it's that, is it? V for Vendetta, seen it a couple of times and liked it. Looking forward to watching that one. It's been recommended to me by a lady that I work with. She's seen it a couple of times and absolutely loves it, so I thought we'll give that a try. Mind Your Language is a great laugh, in my opinion, in everybody's opinion, everybody that doesn't follow woke culture anyway. It's just good, harmless fun that does nobody any harm at all. So, yeah, quite agree. Contact. Saw it once or twice, but don't remember much about it. Wouldn't say it has anything in common with Close Encounters, though. Only they're talking about other worlds. I think I've been kidding myself on that one. I bought it thinking that it would be sort of a worthy successor to Close Encounters, but to me, Close Encounters, they set the bar so high. Um, I'd be very surprised if Contact came even close to it. But it's a subject that's close to my heart, sort of extraterrestrials and the hunt for life on other worlds. So I will be taking a look at it. But I'm going into it with low expectations as far as it being as good as Close Encounters. It's never going to happen, I know that. So The Apartment is good. It's one of Sam's favourites. I've actually ordered myself a copy of it. I know it's streaming on, I think it's Prime at the moment. But from what I've seen of it, and I'm only going on the trailer, I know for a fact I'm going to absolutely love this film. So I thought, you grab a copy and see how you go with it. Captain Pugwash, we're talking about the names. I checked it out on Wikipedia when it was mentioned a week or so ago. They say the risky names were just a myth. I'd have to watch an episode of it. I might be able to track an episode down and I'll let you know on that. I'd be very surprised if that was actually true, because even back in the 1970s, surely people would have picked up on that. Surely. They can't have been that blinkered. The Bishop's Wife, original 1947, is okay, as I remember. Not seen it for over 25 years. I know nothing about this film apart from the fact, again, it's one of Sam's favourites. So I'm going to be taking a look at that, hopefully, over Christmas, because I believe it is quite festive. So, Jerry Anderson, Secret Service. The theme tune was familiar. Not sure if it clashed with another programme, but don't think I watched it. I saw quite a few episodes of that, and the theme tune was as memorable as all the others. Absolutely. He got the knack of writing these most amazing... Well, I think it was Barry Gray that used to do the music for them. He had a knack of just creating these amazing theme tunes for these things. Captain Scarlet, Stingray, Thunderbirds, all of them were just amazing. Ace of Wands was pretty cool in those days. I actually watched a documentary on the extras disc on that series of Ace of Wands that I was showing off, and I remember one of the crew basically saying that they'd heard stories that there were a lot of adults as well finishing work early to get home to watch it. It had a really broad viewer appeal, most definitely. I loved it, absolutely loved it. But when it screened, I'd have been about 9 years old, so I was very easily impressed back then by things like that. So, but I have watched it probably over the last 3-4 years, and I have to say it is not dated well at all. Even though there are a couple of stories in there that were absolutely brilliant, a lot of them were utterly ridiculous. But you didn't see that back in the 70s, back in the early 70s anyway. So Ace of Wands was and still is one of my favourites, and I'm definitely due a rewatch of it. But no, I definitely agree with you, David. It has not aged well at all. Thanks ever so much, mate. Much good, much obliged. Always good to hear from you. Lee. Morning, Lee. A 2-hour mega rant? Yes. No, well, not really. I did well, you've already had your rant, and it's the same one as it was a couple of weeks ago, bloody fireworks. I've got another one written down here that I might do later on. I'll see how I go. My mother once kissed a womble. Right. Strangely, it was about this time I was conceived. Oh my God, that's an image I wanted. Thanks for that. What on earth is that related to? What was I talking about last week that made you think of your mum kissing a womble? It must have been... I can't remember. You'll have to remind me of that. If only Oliver Reed was still around... Oh, if only was still around. To see the Woke Brigade tried to cancel him would have been legendary. Especially if he's doing a double act with Ricky Gervais. That would have been outstanding. The Woke Brigade would not have stood a chance, because Ricky Gervais and Oliver Reed would basically have said, you know what, fuck off. We don't need you. We don't want you. Which is exactly what we're saying. They're a pain in the arse, these people. Self-partnered. Doesn't that just mean he swapped hands during his special time alone? Of course he has special time alone. That's all he can get. Look at him. You know what I mean? Uh, this is a Sam Smith free zone for this week. I did get one through yesterday, but I've forgotten to copy and paste it to the notes. So we'll come back to that. The Sam Smith thing is not over by a long shot. But I've had my rant for this week on fireworks, so I'm not going into Sam Smith again. But I honestly don't get it. I was talking to somebody about it the other day, and basically saying, what is non-binary? Just explain it to me. And he looked at me and he said, I'm not really sure. I think it's the fact that they're not a man or a woman. And it's like, why do they refer to themselves as they? He says, I don't know. And it's one of these things that only non-binary people would know. Everybody else just looks at it and scratches their head and think, what the fuck are they on about? I have no issue with it. I just don't get it. I don't understand it. So if anybody can clue me up in layman's terms exactly what non-binary means and why these people get so arsey and touchy when you get it wrong, because this person I was talking to said he got a friend that was non-binary and he has to literally watch every word he says around her, him, her, they. See what I mean? So he says it can be awkward, but apparently this person doesn't mind it, doesn't have an issue with it if you get it wrong. But why would anybody have an issue with it? It's not. Oh. No, I'm not ranting about this either because I don't know enough about it to go off on one about this. Maybe when I've clued myself up on exactly what it all means, I might have an opinion on it, but I'm very, very liable to put my size 12s in it if I start talking about it now. So we'll come back to that one. Thanks for that, Lee. Much appreciated. And get back to me on the Womble thing. I'd be very curious to know what it was I was talking about that spurred that one on. So let's see. Stuart, morning Stu. Bloody hell, Digby. Not seen it for ages. Loved it as a kid. I've not seen it at all. I do remember it coming to the cinema around about 1974 and wanting to go and see it, and for one reason or another didn't go. I would imagine it's because my mum wouldn't take me or she'd got something on. But I'm certainly looking forward to watching it this Christmas. It is by the TV, and I will be taking a look at that one along with Wombling Free. Great musicals list. South Pacific I own, but haven't seen it yet. Cracking movie. I've not seen it for quite a while, but it's one of my favourite musicals without a doubt. Some of the tunes in that are great. And obviously Happy Talk, which was covered by Captain Sensible in the early 80s. Absolutely loved it. It was a brilliant cover. Nothing like the one in South Pacific, but they had some great tunes. I'm going to wash that man right out of my hair. Bally High, cracking stuff. The performance from Barbara Streisand in You Put Holly Dolly. I'm guessing you mean Hello Dolly, is fantastic. Her voice is incredible, and Walter Matthau is good also. I've yet to see this. I've listened to the soundtrack on CD countless times. I don't know why I bought it blind, but I did, and it was in the car for a good couple of months, and I listened to it back to back. It just literally, it would start again and I'd just leave it on. I loved it. So I'm going into it knowing all of the songs, but not anything about the actual film itself. But I know Barbara Streisand is a cracking actress anyway. Walter Matthau is brilliant in anything he does. I really want to see The Odd Couple. That's one of his that I've not seen yet, and I would love to see that. So that's another one. By the way, I used to love Mind Your Language. Mind Your Language is getting a lot of love this week. It's been re-released on, I think it's by Spirit Entertainment, on DVD in a few weeks, and I may just grab a copy of that, but I need to make sure before I hit that buy it now button that it is uncut and not censored, because if it's censored in any way, I'm not having it. Absolutely not. No, Sound of Music. Yes, Roy Stewart. Sorry. It's one my mum brought me up with. Unfortunately, I saw it many times and it kind of grew on me. I hated it the first time I watched it. I thought it was boring. But the more you watch it, the more you get into it. So yes, I'm afraid The Sound of Music is one of my favourites. I know that you absolutely deplore it, so I get that. Thanks for that, Stu. Brilliant to hear from you as always. Roy. Morning, Roy. Morning, Tony. Wonderful stuff, mate. Good to see you back in action. Cheers, Roy. It's good to be back. I hate taking breaks through illness because when all is said and done, all I've got to do is sit here and talk for an hour or so. So to take, I'm not central. Hang on, let me move. There you go. Yeah, I'm not keen on taking breaks. And it's always good when you come back because people are always pleased to see you. I mean, for the longest time, I think it's nicely settled into its rhythm now. But for the longest time, I wondered what it was I'd even got with this. I wasn't sure what it was supposed to be. And then it all kind of clicked into place, and the comments got longer, and people were taking time out on a Saturday morning to just sit and watch it and basically listen to me sitting here bobbling on. And I never ever take for granted what I've got here now. I just don't. You guys are absolutely amazing. You're amazing for just sitting through these things. But as I say, for a while I didn't even know what it was I got. But I'm certainly glad it's settled into its rhythm now, and I enjoy it now more than I ever did up until probably 6 months ago. I do get the odd week when it tends to go a bit wrong, but I've tended to slow down the talking now. I don't try not to talk too fast because that's when things start to go wrong. And also, I've noticed that when I did used to talk fast, even I couldn't understand a lot of the stuff I was saying when I watched it back. So slowing it down and basically just taking my time with it, it makes it flow so much easier, and I think you guys enjoy it more as well. Right, insomnia. Sorry, Roy, I digressed. Insomnia has taken hold tonight, so really good to see your video is up early. Headphones on so I don't piss off Mrs. B. That would never do. Yeah, I mean, I always post it. I schedule it to drop at 4 a.m. on a Saturday, which basically gives everybody all day to watch it, leave comments and stuff like that. And it seems to work well for everybody. I did offer to drop it a little bit early this week because Jason's in London with his missus, and he said he probably wouldn't get time to watch it or comment on it. As it happens, he did, and you'll be seeing, well, you'll be reading that one out later on. But it just seems a good time to do it. It's up and it's dawn and this, that, and the other, and I'm up about the same time anyway. So as soon as I know it's on YouTube, I transfer it over to or copy it onto the group, and then it's down to you guys. So my dad took me to see Digby at the cinema. We didn't last long in there because I kept shouting, "Look at that big telly." Kids, eh? I have a DVD copy that I found in a charity shop. Can't remember where I got mine from. Amazon, I think. Jaws transfer is breathtaking, mate. The beach scenes are so colourful and vibrant. Can't wait to see what it looks like, but I am going to hold on until next year because the 50th anniversary, I'm assuming they're going to do something special with the box set that it's going to be like the ultimate collector's edition. So that's what I'm holding on for, and I can't wait to watch it on 4K. It's going to look so brilliant, and you've just confirmed that. Great to hear I got you interested in Rupert Brooke. Our local Weatherspoons has his poems on the walls. I will try and get some snaps for you when I'm next in. I would appreciate that. I love stuff like that. And on the back of what you said, I grabbed hold of this. Rupert Brooke collected poems with an introduction by Lorna Beckett. Now this has pretty much got them all in, I think. I've read The Soldier, absolutely loved it. I'm not a big poetry person. A lot of it is completely out of reach for me. I don't get it. But I've found a collection of them on Audible, and I've been listening to one a day. I couldn't tell you which ones they are now, but they only last between 1 and 2 minutes, so even I can manage that. But I love listening to them. I find them very relaxing. But poetry is not really my thing, but you did get me interested enough in Rupert Brooke to grab a copy of this. So what I'm going to be doing is listening to the poems on Audible and reading them through basically with this. So thanks for that, mate. Much appreciated. As I say, a lot of it is out of reach to me, but I do find it very relaxing to read it and listen to it, even if I don't get it all the time. But he's certainly got one hell of a body of work, and I would love to see the inside of that Wetherspoon. So yeah, next time you're in, if you get a few pictures and pop them on the group, that'd be brilliant. One of the poems is called Seaside, which is pretty ironic, as Rugby is just about the furthest place from the coast. I've not got as far as Seaside yet, but I will be doing. I have another Travolta film, The General's Daughter, in this week's Watches video, which will be up tomorrow, the 14th of December. That's another one I've never seen. I know of it, and I can see the DVD cover now, because I've bumped into it occasionally on Amazon when I've been looking at Travolta movies, and I thought I must have a look at that. I know I think it's on Prime to stream, so I might add that to my watch list. But that's another one that I've not seen. Great video as always, mate. Don't do it to yourself with bloody Sandler. Oh my God, I can almost hear the groans from everybody else going, oh my God. I will take in a couple of his dramatic roles, his straight roles. I will take in a couple of those because I've heard so much about them. As for the comedy ones, I'm going to be a little bit discerning. I will be taking them in, but what I will think of them, I don't know. I'm not sure whether it's my kind of humour, even though I did enjoy 50 First Dates with Drew Barrymore the other week, and apparently he's done 2 or 3 with her, and I thought they made a great team. So I am kind of looking forward to seeing the other couple that I've not seen, starring the pair of them. As for the others, I will get round to them, but I will definitely be taking in Uncut Gems, Reign Over Me. Mark recommended one called Set in the World of Basketball, I think. Can't remember what it's called now. Mark, you know what this one is. And also Punch Drunk Love, which Kermode loves. He's always gushing about that one. Yeah, you're obviously not a fan, so I'm not going to argue with you on that one. You did talk about Witchfinder General the other week. I think you were showing off a couple of bits and pieces. So I've got a little collection here of Witchfinder General related stuff. First off is this. I know you're a reader, so you might enjoy this if you can find a copy. This is the original paperback book upon which the movie Witchfinder General was based. I tried to read this. It's a nice book. It's a lovely old book. I tried to read this probably about 6 months ago and didn't get beyond the first 2 pages. I find it pretty hard going. Now, whether I wasn't in the mood for it, I don't know, so I will be giving this another go. But at the time, it didn't go down well. But if you're a reader and you like your reading a little bit sort of, not complicated, but deeper than normal, I think this would probably fit the bill. So that's worth a look. This is my version of Witchfinder General. This is the 4K, which has got, I think, most of the features from the DVD and the Blu-ray that I used to have been transferred over to this, along with a couple of new ones. The transfer of this is absolutely stunning. I did watch the first sort of 5 minutes when it first came just to make sure it was all right, and it looks gorgeous, Roy. The colours all pop out. It looked amazing. So if you're looking to upgrade your Blu-ray, that is definitely the one to go for. And while we're on the subject of 88 films and folk horror, I've got another couple here to show you that you might be interested in. The Blood on Satan's Claw. I remember watching the trailer for this in the cinema, believe it or not. I would only have been about, about 10, 11. This is when it was in the days when the trailers did not exactly fit the movie that you'd been to see. I'd obviously gone to see something like, or maybe been taken to see something like a Bond film or a kids film, and the trailers, all bets were off, and they showed anything, and this was one of them. And I will never forget the first time you see the skull buried in the ground with the eyeball in it and a worm crawling over it. It was just horrible. But I saw this a few years later. Cracking movie, absolutely brilliant, typical early 70s folk horror. And another couple from 88 films that I grabbed. The Sorcerers. This is Ian Ogilvy and Boris Karloff. Never seen it, so I can't say much about it. But it was directed by Michael Reeves, who made Witchfinder General. So I'm definitely looking forward to a look at that one. And also, this is one of my favourite movies ever, and I don't know why, because it's not that good, but I always enjoy it. The Beast in the Cellar. I think Sam's just grabbed a copy of this, so I'm looking forward to seeing what he makes of it when he gets around to watching it. But I love this. Beryl Reid and Flora Robson are in this. Also Tessa Wyatt, who was Robin Tripp's girlfriend in Robin's Nest. She's in this. Just a wonderful film. I'll tell you who else is in this. Chris Chittle, who is Eric Pollard in Emmerdale. So that's definitely one to watch if you've not seen it. And finally, again, if you like your reading, I would recommend this. I have read this. I can't remember much about it because it was a few years ago. Michael Reeves, as I say, who is the director of The Sorcerers and Witchfinder General. He had a short life, but by God, his body of work was brilliant. He died tragically young. I can't remember how. As I say, it's been a while since I've read this, but I need to reread it again. But if you like your reading, that is a cracking book, and I believe it is still available on Amazon. So, right, I'm just going to take a quick break, folks, and I'll be coming on to, let's see, Steve Mack, our Criterion guy. Will be coming on to him next. So I'll be back in a couple of seconds. And we're back. Right, quickly before I move on to Steve Mack, our Criterion guy, I had a message through from Guy while I was recording that first half. It's actually been put on the fuck. And we're back. Right, before I move on to Steve Mack, our Criterion guy, I had a comment go on yesterday's video while I was actually recording that first little bit. It's from Guy, so I'll just read it out on my phone because I've not had a chance to copy and paste it on the notes. Tony, a comment from Rose. Morning, Rose, how are you? Hi, Tony. I have cartoon recommendations for you. The Simpsons, it's a classic. I started watching The Simpsons when it first aired, and I'm going back, I think it was the 90s, or was it the 2000s? I can't remember, but it was a long time ago. I've not seen it since. I occasionally bump into it on Sky when I'm sort of channel hopping, but I've not been tempted to take a look at a full episode. The bits I've seen have been really good, and I probably would enjoy it, but I'm guessing there are thousands of episodes to go at, so I will have to take a look. So I will take that one under advisement. Also, Wednesday Addams, the animated series, it's fun and worth a watch. Wednesday Addams, this is the Addams family, isn't it? And I believe there's a live action series that's doing the rounds at the moment. So I'll take both of those under advisement, Rose, and I will take a look as soon as I get a minute, and I shall let you know what I think. Thank you, love, Rose and JB. Brilliant to hear from you, Rose. Hope you're doing okay. And Guy, where's your comment? God damn it. Like I said yesterday, anybody that's not had time to comment or watch the video, don't panic. I can always transfer it over to next week. So it's nothing. It's no biggie. It really isn't. So, and the other thing I was going to do very quickly was for David. I was going to show off my favourite network title, and it's this one. Catweasel. Came in this little cloth sack thing. That's the actual. Oh, this all happen. There you go. Comes like that. This is the complete series starring Jeffrey Bayldon. Absolutely brilliant. I saw this for the first time when I bought this. I wouldn't say I was too young to watch it, but I don't remember watching it the first time around. But I absolutely love this series. I have seen it. I pretty much watch it every year. I watched it again round about, I think it was July, August this year. Perfect summertime viewing. Absolutely love it. And this is by far the most I've watched. 4, 3, 2, 1. This is the network title that I've watched the most. So if you wanted to know my favourite network title, I would have to say it probably is Catweasel. So that's that dealt with. I'll just pop those over there. Bear with me a second. Right, where were we? Steve Mack, our Criterion guy. Morning, Steve. Congratulations, by the way, on 1,000 subs. That is amazing. Um, I've got quite a way to go before I even think about that one. But I don't. I've said before, I don't think this is um, conducive to having thousands of subs. I think this is just basically fine the way it is. I don't have anywhere near 1,000 followers. I think subscribers. I think it's up to about it is about 160 or something like that, which I'm perfectly happy with. You know, if it creeps up, it creeps up. If it doesn't, not bothered. So my video on No Country for Old Men has gone past 700 views in 4 days, but the one that holds the record is my video comparing Panasonic players, which has gone past 11,000 views. Bloody hell. And gets comments daily. So many people have experienced issues with that player, which is why they've watched it so often. That's brilliant, mate. I can only dream of having 11,000 views. I've hit over 1,000 with the Kes review, but I think that's the one. That's the only one that's gone past that market so far. I think a couple of them have hit sort of 700, 800, and this, that, and the other, but they were the very early ones. And as I say, I don't think what I do here at the moment is that kind of a video, so it doesn't bother me. But that's amazing news, mate. And as I say, congratulations on 1,000 subs. That is a milestone. So onwards and upwards, hitting 1,500 next, easy. Tony, make it your New Year's resolution to watch more Billy Wilder. He has an amazing filmography, including The Apartment and Double Indemnity, which are two of my favourites for different reasons. Watch this space. I went on a bit of a shopping spree yesterday. After all the promises I made that I'm going to pare it back a bit. You wouldn't believe what I spent yesterday, but watch next week and I think you'll be impressed. The Hitler Rap is a spin-off single from the film To Be or Not to Be, but doesn't actually feature in the film. It's based on the 1942 film of the same name from Ernst Lubitsch. I didn't know there was a movie called To Be or Not to Be by Ernst Lubitsch, so I'm going to be checking that one out, definitely. The Producers is my all-time favourite Mel Brooks film. It's a comic masterpiece with Gene Wilder and Zero Mostel. That is another one that I do need to get hold of. I'm ashamed to say I've never seen that one, because it is a classic. I found the modern remake of The Producers a bit meh. It looked good, but didn't have the urgency of the original for me. Isn't it always the case with remakes? They never ever match up to the original, especially not in the hearts of the people that remember the original from when it first came out. I did see the stage musical when it came to London, but the night I went, I got the Nathan Lane understudy. Can't be anything more annoying than that. I was really annoyed as I'd gone mainly to see him, but Matthew Broderick was excellent and Gary Beach was worth the price of admission alone as Roger Debris. See, that doesn't mean anything to me because I've not seen the film, but I can't wait to watch it now. He never returned to the show. Apparently he pulled out after that. Oh, I wonder what that was all about then. Yes, I will be taking in The Producers most definitely, and the name Roger Debris will leap out of the screen at me as soon as I hear it. I know it will. Ghostwatch, we'll talk about Ghostwatch, worked so well because of its presenters and the way it was set up with that live feel. They invited trust as there were regulars on TV, especially Parky. His reactions were so real, so real. Another similar premise film which worked for me was Host, a Shudder release on Second Sight. Ghostwatch, Parky was absolutely brilliant. I was absolutely amazed at how good an actor he was, and I could safely say the same with Sarah Green and Mike Smith. They were all brilliant. Craig Charles I wasn't so keen on because I was not a fan of his at the time, but they all did an absolutely brilliant job of making this thing as real as they possibly could, to the point where it fooled half the country, including me, thinking it was real. As for Host, creeped me out. I did see it. It's only about an hour long. If you get a chance to watch it, guys, and you like found footage movies, look up Host. I think it's on Shudder or Prime, but it is definitely worth a watch. All to do with an online seance that goes wrong. Creepy as hell. So yeah, I totally get that, Steve. Well done for 2 hours. Is that a record for you? I don't know. I can't recall doing one more than that. I've had calls for a 3-hour one now, but it's not going to happen, guys. I can't sit here for 3 hours. I've got all the stuff to do. Yeah, I think it probably is a record. I don't remember doing one. My stomach's making noises again. Um, I don't remember doing one longer than that, so I would probably say yes. That probably is a personal record so far. I'm not saying no to a 3 hour one, but it will happen if it happens. If I've got enough to talk about, then I will just keep it going. But if I do end up with a 3 hour one, it will be the happiest accident ever. I promise you that. So thanks for that, Steve. Much appreciated, mate. Always amazing to hear from you. Jason K, Ginger Ninja, morning Jay. G'day Tony. G'day Skip. My favourite line from the Red. You've seen it, Jay, so you'll know it. When the copper turns up at the community to find this kangaroo, and everybody's screaming at him from inside the restaurant or the bar, basically saying, "Get back in the car, get back in the car." The Red is standing behind him, and he just turns around, looks straight up at him, and goes, "G'day, Skip," seconds before he literally has his head bitten off. My favourite line. Spider-Man is Spider-Man. There are so many different variations, but the original Peter Parker is and always will be Spider-Man. Is that Tobey Maguire? Is that the one that you mean? You'll have to clue me up on that one. I think the first colorised film I saw was The Wizard of Oz, followed by Night of the Living Dead. Really preferred the original black and white version of Night of the Living Dead. Colorization. I can't see it ever changing for me. I will always go for the black and white one. Mostly because a black and white movie doesn't look right in colour. And they were made in black and white for a reason. Whether it be that, the colour stock wasn't available at the time, or they didn't want it in colour, they wanted it black and white for the effect. It's been done for a reason. So I tend to steer clear of colorized movies. And if I've got the choice, I will always go for the black and white original. So totally get that. Sam Neill, Dead Calm. Saw it ages ago. Brilliant movie. I've not seen it for a while. This is Billy Zane, is it? And Nicole Kidman. Set on a yacht or a boat. Really, really good. I do remember seeing it a long time ago and thoroughly enjoying it, but definitely due for a rewatch on that one. Lake Placid is an awesome choice. I take it you are also a fan of Alligator, one of the very first creature feature animal attack movies I saw at a very, very young age, and it stuck with me. I definitely am. This is the DVD, and I believe there's a rather nice Blu-ray of this available, which I may be invested in. I've not seen this for a long time, but I do remember watching it when it first came out and thinking, my God, that is as good as I thought it was going to be. It was a AA certificate when it was released over in the UK, if I remember right, which was over 14s only. So that's only one step away from an X certificate, which was over 18s. But I absolutely love this. I'm very curious to see whether they would actually remake this, because with today's technology and CGI, they could do a really nice job of this. But then again, there's nothing wrong with this one. So yes, I am a fan of Alligator, very much so, mate. The series From. We did get some answers, but also some more questions. This is what I'm afraid of. And yes, it is from the makers of Lost. Yeah, alarm bells are ringing. Go figure. And we won't get the next season until 2026. That's if they don't decide to cancel it, because they have a nasty habit of doing that. I have a huge year of movies already lined up for next year that I'll be watching at the cinema, and not new films. You posted a couple of lists yesterday to do with horror seasons and basically double bills. There wasn't a bad one in amongst there. They were absolutely amazing. So I envy you having those two to go at. I will post the list on the Facebook page, but I think the first one is Aliens. Last night was Scream. First time you've seen Scream? Is that the first time you've seen it? Wow, amazing film. Those are awesome storybooks. Showing the King Kong book made me realise I still haven't seen Peter Jackson's King Kong, and I'm sure I have a steelbook DVD of it somewhere. It's very, very good. I was a bit reluctant to watch it because I'm a huge fan of the 1933 original, but when I did, I thought, you know what, it's a completely different animal, and it's absolutely brilliant. I've yet to watch the 76 version with, I always get this wrong, it's one of the Bridges brothers. I'm basically on safe ground with that, and Jessica Lange. So I definitely want to take that in. I bought it on 4K probably 6 months ago, and I've not had a chance to watch it yet. So that's another one that I need to take in. What would I throw into Room 101? Rachel Zegler and any one of those whining little annoying woke fuckers. Chuck them all in, all of them. I'm not familiar with Rachel Zegler. I'll have to look her up. But if you basically say that she deserves to go into Room 101, I will absolutely take you at your word on that one. Throw Oasis and Sam Smith in there too. We never need to hear from them again if they go in there, do we? Never need to hear their nonsense again. So nice additions to Room 101. Anybody else got any suggestions on that one? Have you got anything that you want to chuck into the famous Room 101? I'll come up with something else for next week. Great vid as always, Tony. Look forward to Tony G in the house next week. Take care, mate. Cheers, Jay. Much appreciated. Brilliant to hear from you as always. Mark. Morning, Mark. Morning, Captain. This young chap that you used to work with who wouldn't watch anything in black and white, are you sure it wasn't me? No, it wasn't. I remember who it was because I was over to young boy when we were work colleagues. Were you? I said, yes, you would have been. You wouldn't have been more than 15 years ago. What would you have been, about 18 or 19 or something like that? I certainly wouldn't watch anything in black and white back then. In fact, I'm pretty certain the only black and white movie I've ever seen all the way through is Scarface, and TV would probably have to be the early episodes of Steptoe and Son. You see, if you watch Scarface, you're halfway there, because that's an old film. That's about 1932. So if you watched the original Scarface, you need to discover some more. Maybe if you've never seen Thread, mate. But Steptoe and Son, all-time classics. Musicals. Get that bloody Rock of Ages DVD watched. It's a great film and an even better stage show. I've actually bought it down and put it by the TV. It's one of my first time watches for January. So I'll be coming back onto that one. I used to own The Faculty and Lake Placid on both DVD. On DVD. Both cracking films. Loved them. Absolutely loved them. Seen The Faculty quite a few times. Seen Lake Placid many more times. The script in Lake Placid is just brilliant. Absolutely love it. Bridget Fonda, superb. Bill Pullman, superb. Brendan Gleeson, brilliant. You just can't fault it. The only advice I can give you is this. The next time someone gets in your way, do what I do and chin the cunt. Is that what you do? It was an old geezer. I'd have felt a bit guilty if I'd have thumped him. It was just irritating. And it's happened again probably about a week and a half later. But I literally just walked past. I thought, I can't be arsed with this. I'll get it next time. I can't remember what I went in there for, but some magazine or other. It's just one of those things that irritates me. That's a definite Room 101. That is people who read magazines at the magazine stand, basically blocking everybody from getting near the magazines. So great 2-hour epic, mate. Loved every minute. Same time next week. Absolutely, Mark. And I'm really pleased you enjoyed it. It wasn't planned to be a 2-hour movie, but I had so much to cover. There was no way I could bring it in under an hour, let's put it that way. So, yeah, it's a happy accident. Let's see, last week, that Adam Sandler movie, Hustle, that's the one. I've got it in front of me now. You were saying it was on Netflix and it won a lot of awards. So I've added it to my Netflix watch list. So I will be taking that one in, along with Rain Over Me and Punch Drunk Love. So thanks for that, Mark. Much appreciated. Callie. Morning, sweetheart. What the fuck? I'm scrolling through this thinking, wow. You've given me so much to go at. Let's delve into this. Well, here we go. It's epic Tony time. An episode this epic deserves an epic comment from yours truly. I can't thank you enough for this. This must have taken you ages to put together. Sam Smith is in a relationship with themselves. Isn't that just a polite way of saying they're a wanker? Absolutely, you get it, obviously. I think I mentioned this earlier. I don't get anything he says. He might as well be speaking Japanese for what fucking sense he makes. But I'm glad that somebody like your good self basically recognises that he is a complete fucking idiot. The colorising of old films. I once watched Night of the Living Dead that had to be given that treatment. Everyone was wearing pastel colours, need I say more? Or Night of the Living Dead? Oh my god, no. Was it the original? I think I saw that one. I think that's probably one of the ones that I tried to watch and thought, this just looks horrible. All the colours were faded and wishy-washy. It didn't look colour at all. It just looked like a bad attempt to make it colour. Time for a bit of trivia. Mel Brooks was actually a producer for the Goldblum version of The Fly, but requested that his name not be used in any of the marketing, as he felt that if the audience saw his name attached to it, they would think it was a comedy and not a horror, and that it might hurt its box office returns. Now you mention that, I remember the opening credits of The Fly, and I never twigged at the time. Brooks Films. Need I say more? So yeah, I get that. I totally get it. I'm currently building up a Christmas horror films list so I can do one a day up until Christmas Day. One of my favourites on that list is Krampus. If you've never seen it, check it out. Saw it about probably 2-3 years ago. Bloody good fun. Really, really enjoyed it. I would probably watch it again. So I mean, if it's streaming, I might have a look at it over Christmas. The Faculty is a damn good film. One of the better teen horrors from the early 2000s. Again, superb film. Josh Hartnett was superb in it. Everybody was brilliant in that. V for Vendetta, in my top 10 of the best movies ever made. The story, the setting, the action and the acting, all top notch in my opinion, and it's also a chillingly close depiction of what could happen if the government had total control. Worth a watch if you've never seen it. I've now got it on Blu-ray, so I will be taking it in. I might just bring it down and put it next to the TV and add it to January's pile. It is quite a pile as well. Falling Down, what a classic, and one that I think could do with a remake. Wait, hear me out on this one, you say. The film is all about a man snapping at the pressures of society. It was brilliant in the 80s, but given the status of the world at the moment, I think a modern day remake could work really well, poking fun at social media and things like that. You're probably right, and I've not looked at it like that. Who would you have playing the Douglas character, just out of curiosity? I'll give that one some thought, and I'll give you my suggestion probably next week. But yeah, from what you've said, I don't think it's that bad an idea. So we'll see what happens with that. On saving videos, I tend to keep completed videos on my computer. That's exactly what I used to do, but space is running out fast, which is exactly what I found. I intend on buying an external hard drive to save a backup copy of my files just in case. Yours are very different because yours are sort of subject based, if you know what I mean. It's not like just a general chit chat like this is, which is why I don't feel the need to keep them. If YouTube crashes and they all disappear, so be it. There'll be more along anytime. So, but I found the same as you. The space on the computer, on the hard drive, I just got so many of them, and I think if I look at the total videos on YouTube, I think it's over 200. And to keep those, and you're looking at 6 or 7 gig for a complete one, especially when they're an hour and a half, that's a lot of space. And they're not something that I would ever want to go back on. I've kept 1 or 2, but they are mostly the original sort of, the ones I did in the first 6 months, which were just sort of individual reviews of stuff like Kes, Psychomania, that kind of thing. I've held on to those, but the general chit chat ones, which are the ones I've been doing for the last 2-3 years, I couldn't see the point in keeping them. If I was looking for a specific thing that I was talking about, I'd have no chance of finding it, so I never really saw the point. So yeah, yours are different, so a backup copy of yours onto a hard drive would be a brilliant idea, but it's not something that I would do again. Hey, nothing wrong with looking like a transformer. Cheers. But I guess that makes Tony a Dinobot, given his age. Cheeky cow. A Dinobot. I don't even know what that is, but I'll look it up. I'm sure it's extremely insulting. I'm sure Gizmo will appear at some point during this season. If not, I'll drop a pic in the group, which she did yesterday, and she's absolutely adorable. Fair choice. We all have a favourite Bond. Mine is Dalton. I couldn't even make my mind up. I mean, the original one that I grew up with was Sean Connery, so I'd have to say Sean Connery. But I did love George Lazenby's one and only movie on Her Majesty's Secret Service. It's probably my favourite Bond film ever. So I totally get that. Bingo, you got the reference, and it's an amazing remake. This is Night of the Living Dead. I'm definitely going to get hold of a copy of that because I do want to watch it based on that tiny little 10-second clip that I found. Thank you for the recommendation. I'll track them down. I can't for the life of me remember what they are, but if you tell me, if I recommended them, I'm sure they're probably very good. I've still not watched them, but I am going to. I can't remember what that's referring to either. It's going from bad to worse. Well then, looks like we've got a topic after we take our Christmas break. That I think is Twilight Zone, if I remember right. That's the show I'm going to be looking forward to. I love the Twilight Zone. I think a toy company needs to bring back the Viewmaster. Just a little novelty for us old farts. I would actually buy one, I know I would. And Rob bought an updated stylophone a while ago, and it does sound exactly the same. It's not the same because it's not an original, and he has got an original up in the attic. But it looks the same, it just looks a newer thing. But I would definitely buy a Viewmaster, absolutely. And I mean, the reels that you could get, you could do some amazing films, some proper Star Wars ones. It'd be brilliant. So yeah, I'm up for that one. To be honest, I'm not sure about the Captain Pugwash characters' names. I think it's one of those rumours that everyone believes. I'm going to be looking into this. Dave brought this up earlier, basically saying that it's some kind of an urban myth. But I'll look into that one. Thank you for the Higgis, love, honey. I'm way behind, Callie. I'm so sorry. I need to watch the last two, the Geeky Chat and the one from last week, and get some comments made. I'm sadly, as I say, way behind, and I will catch up, and I will. And this goes for everybody's videos. It's been a funny time this last probably 2 weeks. I don't know whether it's the cold weather or it's coming up to the anniversary of my mum passing over, but I've just not been able to be arsed with anything or anybody for the last couple of weeks. I've managed to put this together, and I've really enjoyed it because it's taken my mind off everything. But as I say, I think it's a combination of those two things. It's just floored me for the last couple of weeks. But we're coming up to Christmas. I love Christmas. I don't really do New Year, but we're coming into a new year, so things will change, I guarantee. It's just been a funny time at the moment, so I will be catching up with your videos, and I can't wait to see the Geeky Chat because something good always comes out of those. But accept my apologies for not commenting, but I will be doing, and it'll probably be as epic as this one is. Love the Batman set, love Adam West's take on the character. It was my original Batman. He was the one that I grew up with, so yes, I do love that. Ace of Wands, not heard of that one. Before your time, sweetheart. Way before your time. This was about 1971 when I was growing up, so I'd have only been about 9. But an amazing series. As I said earlier, not dated very well, but brilliant. Spitting Image, oh my days, I loved it. Okay, I didn't get some of the jokes at the time, but watching it now, still just as funny. I got most of the jokes. A lot of the jokes didn't land properly, but a lot of it was so biting at the time. I found the original box set that I bought Rob for Christmas. He absolutely adored it. Oh, years ago, and I said we need to watch these again. Yeah, so that's coming back. You're Only Young Twice, another one I've not heard of. Yeah, 70s sitcom set in an old folks home. It was just good, cosy family comedy. Nothing too raw about it, but it was just really good. Peggy Mount was amazing. Pat Coombs was brilliant. Chips, I remember it, but can't remember watching it. Not sure why though. Probably just not your thing. It was classic Saturday afternoon viewing for me. The Tomorrow People, I remember a 90s version of that, but I could be thinking of something else. I remember that 90s version and all. It was an absolute travesty. I think they cast a young cast member of Neighbours. I can't remember his name, but I do remember. I can see him up here now, and to me it just didn't work. But I remembered the original, so it was never going to work for me, no matter what they did. Sailor, not heard of that one either. That was one of my dad's favourites, because obviously he was in the Navy in the late 50s, early 60s, so that was a real nostalgia trip for him. Rock Follies, yet another one I don't know. I think you'd enjoy that one. Rula Lenska, Julie Covington, and what was the other girl's name? Can't remember. Just a fun camp sort of look at the rock music industry in the 70s. I think you'd get on with that. The Owl Service, again, not heard of that one. That is definitely way before your time. That's going back to about 1968. So I'd have only been about, what, 6, 7 years old when I first saw that. Yeah, it did creep me out. Brookside, oh my God, I remember the patio storyline. Everybody remembers the patio. The Jordache family. Kenny Everett, legend. Used to watch reruns on Sky back in the early 90s. I loved Kenny Everett. Absolutely adored him. And I've always said that if Kenny Everett, Benny Hill and Dick Emery, people like that, were still alive nowadays, they would be miserable because they would be stifled to fuck. They would not be able to do anything like they used to do. So they got out at the right time. Down to the final 20 minutes. Can I make it to the end of this 2-hour epic? You bet your sweet ass I can. You're doing well, Callie. I really appreciate you taking the time to actually watch this thing and comment on it. See, now you've told me about a hammer and an iron pipe, that twisted little bit of my brain just went, ooh, I need to see that. You really don't. I'm sorry if I've turned you on to I Spit on Your Grave 2 or 3. I can't remember which one it was, but yes, I do remember the hammer and the iron pipe, and it was horrible. Room 101 was a good show. Some of the picks were just downright funny. If anybody's got any suggestions, including you, Callie, what would you put in? Let's see. Oh, people standing in the way on purpose. I'll kindly ask them to let me reach what I'm after, but I'm that kind of bitch that would just 4, 3, 2, 1. You can tell it's getting on now, you see, because I'm starting to trip over words. People standing in the way on purpose. I'll kindly ask them to let me reach for what I'm after, but I'm that kind of bitch that would just flat out say either you move the trolley or I will, if they make a little effort or no, if they make little or no effort to move, which is what happened to me. It was just bloody annoying. A Vincent Price cooking show, hell yeah. Vincent Price cooking an omelette, how could you possibly resist that? I did it. I made it to the end of the episode in one sitting. Amazing episode one, and look forward to the next one. Thank you so much, Callie, for braving that 2 hours. Mark, you commented on Callie's observation. Your first point on Sam Smith is enough to amuse me for the day. That's the thing about Sam Smith. He isn't amusing at all. He's a fucking dickhead, but just my opinion. So, right, time for another quick break, and I'll be back with Jason's comment, which is also quite an epic. Not quite. Oh, it is quite as. Yes, it is as big as Callie. So I'll come back in a couple of minutes, and we shall wrap this up within the next half an hour. Back in a sec. And we're back. Right, we are definitely coming into the home stretch on this one because it is brass monkeys in here. It's bloody freezing. I know it's not that cold because I think the temperature is about 12 degrees, but I think it's the fact that I've been sitting here for the last sort of hour and a half, not doing an awful lot, and I'm absolutely frozen. So we'll come into the last half hour of this. Right, I'll start off. I promised Callie and Guy that I would show off some retro cartoons on the back of watching the last episode that I saw of Higgis, and I've gathered these together. Now, some of these are not purely cartoons as in animated, but they have got sort of cartoon segments in them. Rose, if you're still watching this, there are at least 2 in here that I think that you would really enjoy. In fact, the first 3 I would say. So obviously you need to get your dad to buy these for you. Sorry, Guy. I dropped you right in it there. First one, the Banana Splits. I loved this as a kid. It was on every single summer holiday in the 70s. Never got bored of it. This was just magical entertainment for me. And obviously this had animated segments because you had the Three Musketeers, you had the Arabian Nights. What was the one where they shrunk the car and went exploring the back garden? Was it Micro Adventures or something like that? Which I always thought was a bit of an inspiration for Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. But I used to love this. Never ever got bored of it. Always looked forward to it. Rose, I think you'd enjoy that. And this is probably one of my favourite Disney movies ever. It's probably the only one animated that I actually own. Um, the Jungle Book, and it's mostly because of the songs. I think the songs in this are absolutely superb. Bare Necessities, I Want to Be Like You. There are loads of them. But as Disney movies go, this is absolutely one of the best animated ones. And as you know, I'm not really one for animated films, full stop. But if I had to pick one that I did enjoy as far as Disney goes, it would be this one or possibly Robin Hood, which also had an excellent soundtrack. I get the feeling you have seen this one, Rose. I'm fairly sure you would have done. But let me know on that one. And finally, well, not for. I've still got some more to go, but as far as Rose goes, tries this one. Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? This is the original series from 1969. This is where it all started. I absolutely love this. I still watch them nowadays if ever they're shown. This is still in the cellophane, and I've had this for years. I really need to unwrap this and give this another go. But this is the original series upon which the whole Scooby-Doo thing started. And I know they've done sort of live action versions of it now. But this, to me, is brilliant. Who remembers this little gem? Mr. Piper. I saw the intro to this on YouTube and thought, my God, I haven't seen that since I was a kid. And I managed to track a copy down. I think this is a European import from a company called eastwestdvd.com. If you do remember it, check out a video on YouTube, because I'm fairly sure that there are a few episodes on there and you'll instantly remember it. If you saw it when you was a kid, you will definitely remember it. But I used to absolutely adore this, and it had animated segments in it because Mr. Piper, who was a big fat git, used to basically read out stories which were animated. So I've not explained that very well at all, but believe me, it's an absolute classic. And if you do have a very distant memory of Mr. Piper, check out YouTube. I'm fairly sure you will find at least the intro on there, and that will bring the memories flooding back. Now on to superhero cartoons, which is what you guys are all about on Higgis. I've shown this off before, but I'll show it again. My favourite Spider-Man, the 1967 original series, before all the other different sort of animated Spider-Man series came along. This was the one that started it all, and I've watched this so many times. I still love it now, and the animation is a little bit crude, I'll give you that, but you know what, it had the coolest soundtrack ever. The music in this is just amazing. So yeah, that's one. And this one, basically you were talking about things like Masters of the Universe, Transformers. Who remembers Space Sentinels? This isn't one of mine, this is actually one of Rob's. He used to love this, and I managed to track this down, and he's watched this quite a few times. And I've said I wouldn't mind watching that with you, because I do vaguely remember this. I remember the little robot, the little square robot was quite loud. That's all I can remember of it. But he used to absolutely love this, and I think this has got all episodes on it. Does it? Yeah, the complete series. Plus the complete series of the Freedom Force, which I've never actually heard of. But do you guys on Higgis remember Space Sentinels? Does anybody remember Space Sentinels? I'd be curious to know. So if I had to pick 5 animated series, cartoons, it would be these, because basically they're the only ones I've got. But I used to love, as you did, Callie, Yogi Bear, the Flintstones, a classic called Wait Till Your Father Gets Home, which was a pre-runner of stuff like Family Guy, and even The Simpsons to some extent. There were quite a few. Top Cat, I used to enjoy Top Cat. Wacky Races, Dastardly and Muttley, used to love all of those. And I do need to build up a little collection of them, because I wouldn't mind seeing a lot of those again. And there was one called Yogi's First Christmas, which is actually on Blu-ray, and I may just hit the buy it now button on that a little later on, because I would love to see that over the Christmas period. So those are my cartoons of choice. So hope you enjoyed that. And Rose, get onto your dad because you need to buy Guy, Banana Splits, Scooby Doo, and the other one, which I can't remember. I've forgotten it already. The Jungle Book, which I'm pretty sure you've probably already got that. So, right, on to Jason's comments before we wind this up. Well, I've watched 30 minutes. Oh no, I'm not sitting there like that. Where's my cup? There you go. Well, I've watched 30 minutes. I'm up to walk up and down London's Oxford Street later. Yes, I know, a week before Christmas. I must be mad. I'm sure nobody will piss me off. I'm sure they won't. And before I read out the next comment, I can't stand kids and I bloody hate chavs. Well, some chavvy parents got told at the nativity yesterday, let's put it this way, they fucked off out of my way pretty damn quick. Presumably they were in your way. So surely the hustle and bustle of London's busiest street a week before Christmas shouldn't be a problem, should it? Of course it won't, Jay. It'll be absolutely fine, I assure you. Everybody will be on their best behaviour, nobody will get in your way, nobody will walk in front of you. It'll be fine. So you came back a little bit later. Well, here we are. Didn't think I'd get this watch tonight and get the comments in, but here we go. Love some black and white movies. Some you watch and actually forget you're watching them in black and white. You don't even notice it. Two-Way Stretch, Carry On Cabby. Love Carry On Cabby. Sergeant, Norman Wisdom films, that box set that I got the other week I need to delve into. Whistle Down the Wind, absolute classic, and It's a Wonderful Life, etc. Can't go wrong with them. You beat me to it saying Holiday on the Buses was filmed at Pontins in Prestatyn. I only found this out fairly recently. But yeah, every time I watch it, it is like a window into the past because it doesn't look anything like that now. It's actually shut down. And going on to some of the forums, some of the Pontins forums, it was actually known as one of the worst Pontins sites in the UK, and people were posting pictures of absolutely filthy chalets. And it's such a shame because that place was like a second home to us in the 70s and the 80s. It was just brilliant. And to see it degenerate into that and finally get closed down, I would still love a walk round it. I would love to go up there, crawl under the fence and just have a wander back and peel back the years. But I'm fairly sure it won't look anything like I remember it looking. I'm even thinking of starting a Pontins Prestatyn Facebook group and seeing if I can get people to be sending pictures of chalets, all that sort of thing, and memories basically from the 70s and 80s. I've actually got it on my to-do list for next year. And I'll be coming back to that next week. I'll be running through some kind of a list of New Year's resolutions. I don't normally make them. But Sam did a video, Sam from Sammy's G's World of Cinema, of his New Year's resolutions, movie-related resolutions, and I loved it, absolutely loved it. So I'm going to be creating mine, and I'll probably read them out next week when I've got them all down on paper. So you see, this is about me feeling uncomfortable in company. You see, you talk for hours in front of the camera, but can't chat to someone you don't see often enough. I'm the opposite. I can't do the videos, but would talk to you face to face for hours about random shit. You see, you get it, and you do. And I absolutely agree. I can sit here quite happily for hours just chatting to you. But if I meet you on the street, it would probably take me 10-15 minutes to get into my stride, conversation-wise. But for the first few minutes, it'd be super uncomfortable for me, but it wouldn't bother you at all, and I'm fairly sure that you would talk me round. I know you would, but then again, as Glove on the other hand or whatever, you say that you couldn't do the videos, but you've done them before, and I think the last one was quite a lengthy one, if I remember. Really hoping you do something over Christmas, Jay. I would love to see that. All three versions of Black Christmas are shit. Well said. I don't agree with it, but well said. Well, to be fair, I've only seen the first original, and that was bad enough. The original to me is the best. I can't remember ever seeing the remakes. If I have, they were instantly forgettable, which is why I'm not remembered them. I watched the first series of Lost, But when it went to a second series, I refused to watch it. And how the hell can that curly-haired fat fucker not lose weight in 7 years? Tyrone from Corrie lost a stone in the jungle in just 3 weeks. I can't remember his name, but he was massive. He was absolutely massive. And you're right, he didn't lose weight in the whole of the season. There was an interview on the BBC last week with Rudolph Walker about his upbringing and starting out as an actor. It was really good. He was showed a clip of Love Thy Neighbour and he was in hysterics watching the clip. I wouldn't mind seeing this. He said it should be shown again because it shows the dumbness of racism, and he's absolutely right. People complain that if you couldn't possibly screen it nowadays because everybody would be offended. No, they wouldn't. People with no fucking sense of humour would be offended. Boring bastards would be offended. Normal people wouldn't at all. Not at all. And he's quite right. It shows the absurdness of racism and how pointless it is. And as has always been said, it's always the white guy that came off worse. Never once did the black guy come off worse from it. Never ever. So that tells a story in itself. I've just watched Christmas specials of both Steptoe and Son, Porridge. Brilliant. I will not be watching that shite Gavin and Stacey over Christmas. Overrated fucking shite. I never got it. I've got to admit, it's one sitcom. Do you call them sitcoms now? I don't know. But I never ever got the appeal of Gavin and Stacey. So I can't say it. Well, I can definitely say that I've not seen a single episode of it. I've seen bits of it because Rob likes to watch it every now and then, and I don't get why, but he does. But to me, it just bores the hell out of me, and it does. And I can't stand James Corden anyway. To me, it's just a smug, arrogant, fat fucker. That's another rant. No, it's not for me either, Jay. I've had my mobile phone for 6 years. I'm going to upgrade in the new year before it goes completely and I lose everything on it. It served its time. I just hate changing phones as I'm a tech phobe. I'm the same. Whenever I get a new phone, it takes me months to get on top of basically how you use it. And as for all the new apps and stuff like that, I'm probably going to stick with the one I've got for the moment because it serves its purpose. This one that I'm filming on now is fine as it is. So there don't seem any point in changing that just at the moment anyway. But my actual mobile phone that I use in sort of everyday life, I can't see the point in changing it. I don't want a load of extra apps because I don't use the majority of the ones that are on the phone I've got, so there doesn't seem much point. And I am also a tech phobe, believe it or not, Jay. I'm still trying to work out half the things that my TV does, so I do completely get that. Sitcom spin-offs. Swap Likely Lads for Porridge, Both Steptoes, Bless This House, Man About the House, or George and Mildred. All good, all brilliant. I just enjoyed the Likely Lads because I enjoyed the series. I loved the series. So to me, the spin-off was just superb. That's the only reason I liked it. As you saw, I got the What's On TV Christmas mag, and you said that I think you circled about 6 items in there. Normally, mate, you remember we'd have spent hours going through it, and we'd just deface the fuck out of it with circles and ticks and all this sort of thing, and then we'd have to go out and buy, a massive pack of VHS tapes just to get all this stuff on. And it's just not the same. I'm fairly sure I probably did the same as you. Probably 4, 5, maybe 6 things that I looked at and thought, I wouldn't mind watching that. But the rest of it, anything that I wanted to watch was usually old television. Am I slouching again? That's better. Yeah, most of it is old TV on stuff like UK Gold, That's TV, all that sort of thing. As for new stuff, hardly any. Cooking Price Wars DVD. Cooking Price Wars. Cooking with Price, or something. I can't remember what it's called now. Surely you're the only person that's bought that shite. Maybe. I don't know. I will let you know what it's like because I am definitely going to take a look at that, but I reckon it's going to be good fun. If an old boy blocking the magazines in the supermarket pissed you off, you'd have hated London today. I would have hated London today anyway. You would never ever get me into any town centre, not even Burton, during December, because of other people. Basically, they are the bane of my life. Last time we went was 10 years ago. Oxford Street is just unreal. Thousands and thousands of shoppers. We was going up one side, then down the other, but we stopped halfway and made our way back down. Sod that, we'd had enough. I wouldn't have lasted that long. I used to love all that. Years ago when I was younger, you know, crowds and stuff, absolutely adored it. Now I'm totally the opposite now. I bloody hate it. Winter Wonderland was good though. We went in the quiet period of 11 to 12. I don't know about this. I'm going to have to look into this. You can see why this place attracts 3 million people in 5 weeks. When we queued to get in at 11 a.m, there was about 30 people in front of us and was in within 5 minutes. When we left 2 hours later, there was about 500 people in the queue to get in. Bear in mind, there are 4 gates to get in. A family of 4 could easily spend £500 in there. Bloody hell. What is it exactly, Jay? Send me a link on Messenger and I'll have a look. I'm just curious to know what this Winter Wonderland is. I spent £25. Double cheeseburger, bacon and fried onions, 13 quid. What? Hot dog, £12. Whoa! I was hungry and it had to be done. We've decided we will never go London again. I don't blame you, mate. I don't blame you. I hear they are planning on pedestrianising Oxford Street. That would be better as more room for people to walk. I do like London, but it's got some fucking weirdos walking about. That's the capital city for you. So back to the shoppers that piss you off. Move their trolleys out of their way or ram the fuckers, then drop some lube into his shopping. I mean, I don't ever get a trolley. I've normally got a hand basket because I only pick a couple of bits up. But I suppose I could hit him over the head with that if it ever happens again, which it will. It always does. Saw every episode of Chips shown on a Sunday dinner time around 1 p.m. I think that was when they repeated it. I remember it Saturday afternoons around about 5 or 6. But they did repeat all these American shows Sunday lunchtime, so I do remember that. We are currently watching the Brookside reruns. Episode 500 has just been shown. We've not even started that one yet. It's on STV, isn't it? It's one that I wouldn't mind having a look at because I did enjoy Brookie because it was just harder edged than most of the other soaps until EastEnders came along. So I wouldn't mind taking a look at that. Never seen 2026. Not a chance. 2025 will not be beaten. I have 58 movies for 2025, so expect a trilogy and a couple of double bills. If I watch any more between now and December next year, then we could have some double ups. There is no way I could watch another 50 movies that I've not seen before. You could, Jason, you can do it. I know you can. And you say that now, but come towards the end of the year, I reckon in the next 12 months you will be watching older films that you've not seen before. I can see it. I can see it now. But let's see. Nat and Dean, Christmas CD, and also Doris Day. Fucking hell, don't fall asleep at the wheel. I love them. Them to me are the perfect Christmas CDs. They're just brilliant. I've also got Sinatra, Bing Crosby, Gene Autry, the singing cowboy. You don't remember him, do you? I've got loads like that. Jim Reeves, the Andrews Sisters. I don't believe I have a recent Christmas release CD, as in now Christmas or anything like that, because they always include things like Robbie Bleeding Williams and contemporary new stuff that I just don't like. So I don't see the point in getting one. The only ones that I go as far as is probably the 70s and maybe the 80s, up until the mid 80s. After that, I completely lost interest in the charts, full stop, let alone Christmas singles and this, that and the other. But yeah, it's just not me. I prefer the retro Christmas because that's me. I'm just a retro guy. That's it for this week. 3-hour video tomorrow, yeah? In your fucking dreams, dude. That's not happening. It really isn't. For one thing, it's bloody freezing in here, and I'm all out. I'm all out. Yes, the cup's got nothing in. That's what I'm hoping it's about. It's just a prop. Roy, you'll love this. This is literally just a comfort blanket. It's one I had made a long time ago with the logo from the website on it and stuff like that, and I can't bear to part with it. So let's see, just a couple of bits that I've bought. These were, well, one was recommended to me by Rob, who did the review of Venom for us a little bit earlier on, and also wrote a review of Red One, which I'll be coming back to next week when me and Jason have watched it. He recommended this one to me, and I don't know where it came from. He just sort of came out with it. Grimsby. I know very little about it. Sacha Baron Cohen, not his biggest fan because I hated Ali G, absolutely loathed it. And Mark Strong, who I'm not overly familiar. Oh, I am familiar. I can see his face now. I think one's a secret agent and one's a complete idiot, as it says on the front here. So I did watch the trailer and thought it looks all right actually. So rather than hunt it down on streaming, which I didn't realise it was on Prime, he did actually tell me earlier in the week that it's on Prime. And I said, it's too late now, I've ordered a copy, but it only cost me about £1 something, so if I don't like it, that'll be winging its way to the RSPCA. And the only other one I got this week, unlike next week, God, I'm going to have to set aside 10 minutes just to show off everything I've bought, which I promised I wouldn't do. The only other one, I was on the Sacha Baron Cohen page, so I thought, you know what, I've not seen this one either, Bruno. Again, know nothing about it, but the cover pretty much tells you everything you need to know. So I will be taking that one in. I believe it's a little bit raw, and it caused an awful lot of controversy when it first came out, but for some reason I never got round to watching it. So this was on the same page as Grimsby for about £1.50, so I thought, sod it. So I'll let you know what I think of that when I've watched it. Right, guys, that is it. An hour and a half, or near enough, which is not bad. Thank you ever so much for joining me, and as always, thank you so much for your continued support. You know, taking the time to watch the videos, taking the time to come up with the comments and the ideas and the questions. As I've said before, it's you guys that keep this going. If it wasn't for you, I would not be sitting here, because there would be absolutely no point. But you've stuck with me right the way from day one, and I really, really appreciate that, and I never, ever take it for granted. You guys are amazing, and as I say, this would not exist in any way, shape or form were it not for you. The only thing that would exist is the website, which I started first. That was the first thing, the first Retro Movie Zone thing that started, and everything else sort of grew from that. So yeah, you've been absolutely brilliant this week. You've done me proud with the comments and the questions and that, as per usual, as you always do. I'll be back again same time next week with a fresh crop of nonsense and stuff. I'll try to steer clear of Sam Smith, but if you've got anything you want me to read out on the lovely Mr. Smith, let me know, because you know I enjoy that sort of thing. And if there's anything that you want to ask me question wise, feel free, just throw them at me. So right, have a brilliant week, folks. We've only got let's see, one more weekend until Christmas, so as I say, I'll be back same time next week. Have an amazing week, folks. Hope you get all your Christmas shopping done on time. I've got a few bits to wrap up and then I'm all done. So have a great week, and I will be back with you around about the same time next week. Take care, everybody. Ta-ra.